to deal with an unspecified health issue. The 57-year-old Sanders is entering his third season at Colorado. The Celebration Bowl, the game that decides the Black College Football National Champion, will be played Saturday, December 13th in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the NFL Atlanta Falcons. The game features the SWAC Conference champion against the champ from the MEAC Conference. The game will be televised live on ABC, 9 a.m. kickoff LA time. The Rams and Chargers are going through mandatory minicamps this week. First preseason game for the Rams is August 9th against Dallas at SoFi Stadium. The Chargers kick off the NFL preseason against Detroit in the Hall of Fame game on July 31st in Canton, Ohio. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
LA's newest soul food restaurant is getting spectacular reviews. Great place with amazing food. The Sunday champagne brunch is fabulous. I saw the place on IG. We tried it for lunch. We were blown away by the food and the service. The restaurant has an inviting atmosphere and a dynamic vibe. Over the years, Lionel has catered most major Black events in Los Angeles, including all of our KBLA Talk 1580 gatherings. But now he has his own spot, Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine, and you need to check it out at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles. Oxtails, baked or fried chicken, meatloaf, turkey chops, pork chops, catfish, short ribs, and all the fixins. Collard greens, mac and cheese, yams, red beans, black-eyed peas, and more. And of course, hot water cornbread, satisfying drinks, and delicious desserts. Lionel's is a great place for brunch, lunch, or dinner. If it's good enough for us, it's good enough for you, because we've got your black. So, head on over to Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles and tell Lionel you heard about it on KBLA Talk 1580.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580, good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing, giving praise, giving thanks, and asking for blessings from God. Asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. The phone lines are open, the microphone is on, and it's time to do what we do around here. This being KBLA Talk 1580, this being a Wealth Building Wednesday. This is how things go down. Hour one, we look local, what's going on the left coast, the Pacific Ocean side of town. Hour two, we head national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a hot topic or an important person. Today we are on point. I should have mentioned, top of hour two, we'll do Wealth Building Wednesday, where we meet a business or a person of interest or a resource for small businesses, because our intention is to help you and me and us build generational wealth, tap into resources that we may not have known about, and recycle black dollars, as well as supporting small business and Black-owned, BIPOC, socially innovative businesses. So all that is happening around here. Not to mention you're invited in every hour at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580 if you got something to say. Particularly interested to hear from you if you've had a chance to be out there in these streets protesting, supporting protesters in any way. There's a lot of different ways to show up and resist, right? You don't always have to be the one marching. You can be the one making sandwiches for the one marching, bailing out the one marching, telling the narrative of what's actually happening. It has been quite wild. I was watching the national news last night and just the way they interpret LA and how, well, you got to be there to know it, like Pac said. You got to be there to know it, because so many of the things that they say and characterize are just simply not what's happening. That ain't it. Apparently, Donald J. Trump has ticked off our governor, and he's gone Super Saiyan on us. Many of us were, and by many of us, I mean me, but I know some of you too, have been disappointed in the governor palling around with Charlie Kirk, doing a podcast, seemingly tacking to the right. But apparently the actions of the president and the defense secretary have set off a Super Saiyan governor, and he is on 10, pushing back and standing up for our state. Look, we got this. Same with the mayor. We don't need the Marines. We don't need the National Guard. We've been through way worse than this. We don't need you to bring us another emergency. We're still dealing with the fires of the Palisades neighborhood here in the city of Los Angeles and the Altadena, Pasadena, Eaton fire in the county of Los Angeles, which sadly doesn't have its own mayor, but does have the Board of Supervisors. We're still dealing with that. We're trying to rebuild. Why are you trying to make it more difficult? Unbelievable. Now, as I'm sure you've noticed, the pushback, and it is pushback, and I know it's not a Talking Point Tuesday, but every day we debunk BS around here. I think it's really important for us to say again that these protests are a response to the feds, to the ICE agents coming in and snatching kids out of schools, people off of job sites. I saw a video on ABC7 yesterday of ICE agents chasing people who were trying to pick our crops in the fields of Oxnard. Okay, so when your grapes and lettuce and strawberries are real expensive next year, remember this moment. And I know, I'm not trying to be transactional about it. I saw someone, I don't know her name, but she had a great point on Instagram saying that the value of migrants, the value of immigrants is not based on what they can do for us. It's based on the fact that they're human beings. And I think that's a great point. And point is taken. But nevertheless, we talk about arresting criminals, but you're going to like strawberry fields and chasing folks who are trying to do some of the hardest work in America that most of us do not want to do. I'm not going to lie. Would I do it if I had to? Yes. Do I want to go pick strawberries? No. And if you're being honest, neither do you. And if you're keeping it 100, somebody has to do it. It's just, but it's not even about any of that really. It's about this this moment and what the way that we're being attacked as the Golden State, the way that the laws are being violated, potentially, seemingly. We talked about this yesterday, the idea of posse comitatus, which means they're not allowed to just take the military and attack citizens. That's the law. I didn't make it up. Gavin Newsom didn't make it up. That's the law of the land. And yet, the president is doing it. There were numerous military generals retired on television last night on CNN and MSNBC saying, no, this is not what the military's for. They're trained to kill. They're trained to support foreign troops. They are not trained to do policing. Why are the Marines going to Los Angeles? Well, it's a flex by the president, a flex to the tune of $134 million at least. That's what they're admitting to, which means it'll probably cost much more than that. Money that could be used to, I don't know, rebuild Altadena, feed kids. We have actual children in this country that are starving since we decided we couldn't afford to renew the child tax credit, which Dems had pushed through under COVID, and then Republicans and Joe Manchin decided, no, we can't afford this. So money for war, but can't feed the poor, not even the kids. It's the moment, but the thing that I find, one of the many things that I find encouraging that's happening right now is that other cities are jumping in. Seattle, New York, Chicago, the protests are happening. And as I started off this little rant this morning, these protests are a reaction. It's not like LA was all marching in the streets and throwing rocks at the air. And by the way, the rock throwing and graffitiing on cars and even fires, it's a very tiny part of what's happening here. If you start paying attention, you'll notice the mainstream news outlets are playing the same clips over and over and over and over and over again, because that is not that widespread. Of course, if you're in LA, you know parts of downtown were placed under curfew last night by the mayor. I think it was 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. this morning, which means, while I was on the way to work, the curfew was still in effect. Most people honored that. And again, watching the national news, you clearly get that they don't understand LA. LA is not a city like other cities. LA is like a series of what would be large cities in other states strung together, and we call it a city, right? The Valley is part of LA. Pomona is part of LA, but Santa Monica isn't, even though it's much closer. So perhaps it's confusing. Many of these cities have their own mayors, their own city councils. I'm telling you something you already know. But somebody needs to tell CNN and MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, because clearly they don't get it. They don't understand that our city is not in flames. It is not out of control. Yes, there are protests, as there should be. And for the most part, those protests are within the scope of what's legal. And to be clear, when laws are unjust, we break them. And sometimes when you protest, you have to be loud or unpleasant or break the rules. It's not always coloring within the lines. I'm not advocating violence. Don't write me a stupid email or send some trolls after me. I'm not advocating violence, but I'm saying if you expect protesters to go according to the rules that you prescribe at all times, that's just not a realistic expectation. Even Martin Luther King didn't do that. But anyway, if you're out and about, if you've been committed to some kind of action or supporting some kind of action, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you want to talk about something completely different. There is still a lot going on. We've got a city in motion. It is not out of control, and I'm glad to see the mayor standing firm. I'm glad to see the governor clapping back and the lawsuit moving forward, and our elected showing we've been through civil unrest, we've been through fires, we've been through earthquakes. We'll let you know if we need help. We got this. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, thank you. Let's spend that $134+ million. I mean, there's that. And then you think of all the police overtime that's coming out of our city budget, which is already scraping to overcome $1 billion budget. Now, Trump is imposing these conditions because we didn't need police in these streets like that. We didn't need to balloon the LAPD budget. You did that, Mr. President, by sending in ICE, sending in the National Guard, bringing in the Marines. You did that. You cost our city budget money. And it's going to keep on costing. For what? What do we get out of that? Fewer people at the Home Depot? Less workers in the fields in Oxnard? Fewer dangerous criminal elementary school children? Give me a break. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580 if you got to say a thing about a thing. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this right here is KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about him.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There'll be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now. That announcer always cracks me up. Your favorite morning show host. I hope so. If I'm not, you can still listen anyway. 800-920-1580 if you got something to say. 800-920-1580. Look, I registered yesterday for our anniversary events. Have you registered yet, Miles, for our anniversary events?
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Okay, you go to KBLA1580.com to register if you haven't done it yet. Do it right now before you forget. Okay, here's the deal. It's our 4th anniversary. Unbelievable. But we've been at this for 4 years, and we've got 4 events, one for each year. Are we going to keep doing that? By our 10th anniversary, we'll have 10 events. Anyway, we have 4 this year for sure. And they're good. They're all really good ones. And they're all free. But they're all filling up. So go to KBLA1580.com and register. It's really easy. I did it last night. You just put in your email address and which event you want to go to. There's a little flyer for each event that tells you what it is. And you can pick all 4 or just one. And of course, if you pick just one, pick mine. Pick me. That's Saturday. Mine is the 21st, mine ours, because it's the state of black women in LA. But everyone's invited, not just the women. We'll have a fabulous panel of influential woman leaders. We will have lunch afterwards together. And then we will do, during and after lunch, we're going to do brainstorming, solution building, conversation, and figure out how to make the state of black women in LA even better. So hopefully you will be there. It's free. It's going to be fun. And I'll see you there. Yeah. And by the way, if you're coming to our barbecue, because we do have a barbecue in the park, free food, free fellowship, a lot of the KBLA personalities. For that one, if you can, we want you to bring a gift card for either a restaurant chain or a grocery store chain, any amount, because we are still supporting those who are displaced by the Altadena fire. Could sure use $134 million that you're spending on those Marines to help rebuild Altadena, IJS. Anyway, time to call me if you want. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I think as Angelenos, whether we have a small platform, just a few hundred or a couple dozen followers on whatever socials platforms you are, or a large following through a podcast or a radio show or a television show, we have to keep pushing back and say, we didn't go crazy. Our city is not in flames. We responded to attacks by ICE, who was kidnapping people off the streets without identifying themselves per se, with their faces covered, masked, and even detaining people who are unmistakably and unequivocally citizens. What is actually happening? We didn't go crazy spontaneously. We are not going crazy now. We are using our right to resist. And that's it, and that's all. We got this. We don't need the Marines. You're wasting your money. We don't need the National Guard. You're wasting their time. We have to. It's not just me that has to say it. It's not just Gavin Newsom or the mayor, Karen Bass, or Mayor Limon of Paramount that has to say it. We as Angelenos have to let it be known. You know, I'm sure you've gotten calls or texts or emails from your own family or friends out of state. Oh, are you okay? LA's burning. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, we're standing up for other human beings, for our constitutional rights, for our right not to be invaded by the MAGA administration. Thank you very much. We're good. Let's go to Carl calling from LA. Good morning, Carl. What's up?
Dominique, how are you this morning? What's going on with you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed in the middle of the mess. How are you?
Well, I'm blessed, I guess. I don't know. I never use that word. But
blessed,
hey, yeah,
you guess. Don't claim it. Claim it. Don't guess it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Hey, well, I'll be glad when they stop writing on Kobe Bryant's picture. What do you call it? Man, that's the second time they destroyed it. But hey, you know, I'm changing my party. I'm not going Democratic no more. I'm gonna give it a little thought on this election stuff. I know Gavin Newsom's not gonna be president. Kamala Harris not gonna be governor, and the mayor is her last term.
Can I just tell you something,
you know,
Carl? I actually think Kamala Harris might be governor. I don't think she's going to be president, and this is definitely Gavin Newsom's last term, but it's definitely possible that Kamala Harris.
So? I don't think her.
I think she's going to run, and I think she's going to win. I mean, you know, I'm sorry to all the other people that are running, but that's what I think.
Yeah, well, Viragosa thought maybe he'd be in there too, but he's going to talk his way so far, but he's not getting nowhere either.
Well, to be clear, Viragosa's polling really well, Carl, but I think once Kamala Harris gets in the race, it changes it for everybody else.
Well, ask him what he's going to do for reparations for black folks like me. You know, can I be the first in line to get a check?
Yeah. So wait, Carl, what? Okay, I will. What party are you changing to?
I haven't gave it that much thought yet, but I'm not going Democratic. I'm done with it. I'm done with that Democrat.
Well, may I suggest,
Gloria,
the Justice for All party, if you are going to swap, go with Dr. West's party.
Well, Cornel West and Molina, I might have to go with them. I mean, maybe so.
Because honestly, the Green Party to me is just a perennial spoiler. I know Tavis doesn't agree, but I wouldn't go green unless the green goes black. If we turn it into the red, black, and green party, I'd be with that. At this point, or else no party preference, which means truly independent. Independent is a right wing party. No party preference means you don't have a party affiliation. I would do either that or I'd go in Justice for All.
Yeah, well, they say if I change from Democrat and don't go Republican, I'm just wasting a vote. Going with another party. But I'm going to give it some thought, and I'm going to see where it leads me.
Well, if you go party preference, then if there's a Dem that you want to vote for, you can just request that ballot. So that's actually not really true. I mean, I'm not trying to talk you out of the Democratic Party, although I've been pondering bouncing myself. If I were to leave, I would probably go no party preference or Justice for All. Working Families is another option, Working Families Party. But if you register no party preference, you can just request the ballot of your choice. If for some reason you wanted to vote for the Republican, you would just request that ballot. You would just request that ballot even though you could remain no party preference.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a little more thought and see where it leads me. I think I'm going to try to dodge downtown Los Angeles. I got to make a detour down that way today, but I think I'm going to cancel that. Enjoy, Dominique. Thank you.
Oh, it's always good to hear from you, Carl. I wonder how many other folks are thinking about leaving the Democratic Party. We talked about that with Jasmine Canick when she was on the show recently. She said, hell no, she's not leaving because this is where the black people are. And that's true. This is where the melanated folks reside, right? The more melanated folks are in the Democratic Party. She's team stay and fight. Just like I'm team stay and fight when it comes to the USA Party. So far, still a Dem, progressive wing. But I feel you, Carl. I would consider being no party preference. We've got news, traffic, and sports. Then it's the perfect time to call me. 800-920-1580. Be like Carl. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Protests against President Trump's immigration raids are growing in Chicago.
More power to the people! Nobody is illegal!
Thousands marched downtown, blocking traffic and prompting arrests. Riot police were deployed and CTA buses were halted in the Loop. Similar protests hit cities nationwide. A black Mobile, Alabama police officer was arrested at a Disney resort and charged with kidnapping. 22-year-old David Cunningham allegedly detained a man at a Mississippi party where he had no police authority. He was arrested June 3rd in Florida. And Laleah Mae Williams of DeKalb County, Georgia, just turned 100. The lively centenarian celebrated with family in Decatur. Known for her sharp memory and independence, Williams still shops for groceries and stays active every day. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Get well wishes are circulating for University of Colorado football coach Deion Sanders. Sanders is spending time at his home in Texas to deal with an unspecified health issue. The 57-year-old Sanders is entering his third season at Colorado. The Celebration Bowl, the game that decides the Black College Football National Champion, will be played Saturday, December 13th in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the NFL Atlanta Falcons. The game features the SWAC Conference champion against the champ from the MEAC Conference. The game will be televised live on ABC, 9 a.m. kickoff LA time. The Rams and Chargers are going through mandatory minicamps this week. First preseason game for the Rams is August 9th against Dallas at SoFi Stadium. The Chargers kick off the NFL preseason against Detroit in the Hall of Fame game on July 31st in Canton, Ohio. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Every mother deserves a healthy and joyous pregnancy and birth, and every baby deserves to thrive. That's why the Los Angeles County Abundant Birth Project is here. The Abundant Birth Project is a guaranteed income program that provides cash during pregnancy to pregnant individuals at the highest risk of preterm and low birth rate babies. Although program enrollment has closed, our commitment to Black joy and thriving continues. Through tailored services that foster mental well-being and community-based resources, we provide care and support during pregnancy and after the baby is born to help build brighter futures for our families. Join us in celebrating abundant births in LA County. For more information, please visit abundantbirthproject.org. abundantbirthproject.org. Are you ready to play? Then jump into the LA 84 Foundation's Free Playday Block Party, a community celebration for all ages, including live music, dancing, LA's pro sports teams, great local food trucks, plus special giveaways for you to take home. Enjoy an exciting, fun-filled day for the entire family. Join us Saturday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2141 West Adams Boulevard. To register, go to la84.org. We'll see you Saturday, June 28th at LA 84 Foundation's Free Playday Block Party.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy.
and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-857-8866. 800-857-8866. 800-857-8866.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, to all our friends and delegates across the country, LA is not burning. LA is protesting. We do that. It's our constitutional right. There was a curfew placed last night by the mayor from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. 25 people were arrested. You going to tell me you have to spend $134 million so the LAPD can arrest 25 people? I think we've seen worse at soccer matches. Give me a holy break. No, thank you. Go away. Go home. Molly Bell was talking to you. She said, please don't change parties. Karen Bass, Democrats need us. I am not going to another party. We need the numbers. Why would a good candidate as a Dem and y'all leaving? Not me. Much love. Yeah, there's a couple other folks saying they're not leaving, but whether you leave or whether you don't, it doesn't mean your vote has to leave. And sometimes, Molly Bell, like if I leave and Kamala Harris runs, if I leave, no matter who's running, I'm going to pick the best Democratic candidate and vote for them, probably, because in the statewide race, it's unlikely that the Injustice for All party candidate or the Working Families Party candidate would win. But I know Butch Ware is running on the Green Party. I'm not feeling the Green Party. Haven't been for a long old time. But anyway, I understand your point, Molly Bell. You're right. We need the numbers, but why have the numbers if we don't have the policies, if we don't have the backbone? And I agree with several people who said, why is Congresswoman Maxine Waters by herself trying to visit a prison? She should have the whole congressional delegation or a team of lawyers or security or all of the above should be there with her. Why does she always have to be the lone brave soul standing up for LA, standing up for justice? Now, to be fair, I've seen several of our local lawmakers going hard in the paint for justice on television, which is nice. Saw Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager last night on CNN, and she was putting it down, making it plain. And I think right now we all have to do that because the propaganda is crazy, and they are trying to create a narrative which is, one, not true, and two, problematic because it undermines our civil rights. Congratulations going out to State Senator Monique Limon. She is now the leader. She's been elected as the next leader of the Senate. First woman of color to hold that position, period. She's from Santa Barbara, Democrat, and considered a progressive. I can't say I know enough about her record to affirm that, because a lot of people call themselves progressives, but that's how she's being described. She's a daughter of immigrants, and that is interesting that we have voted on the state level for the daughter of immigrants, a Latina Democrat progressive, to be the leader of our state Senate right at this moment. Let's go to Dee calling us from Long Beach. Good morning, Dee. Dee?
Good morning, Dominique. How are you?
I'm
yes,
blessed.
Ma'am.
How are you?
I'm great. Did you see that post by Najee Ali yesterday?
No. I'm not. We don't need to. Yeah, I mean, you can. That's not a person that I follow in that way.
Okay, be that as it may, he was walking on the side of the freeway, and the police approached him, and they asked him why he was walking on the freeway. He said he wasn't walking on the freeway; he was walking on the side of the freeway. Long story short, that took me back to 1999, the Kingdom Day Parade, which started with an ambulance. And something possessed me to join the parade. There were policemen on horseback. They were very intimidating. And at some point, the march turned north, and I kept going east on King. And I was walking in the street, and the police asked me, "Are you a car?" I said, "No."
They really asked you if you were a car? That's what they really said?
They asked me if I was a car. That's what they said.
Okay. And you said, you remind me of my Jeep.
Health moment.
You said, you remind me of my Jeep. You started quoting R. Kelly. Yeah, you were having a meltdown at the moment when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Tom Hayden was running for mayor.
I remember that well. He had all the gang intervention folks backing him up. I'm surprised he didn't win, but he didn't.
Really, California is not as liberal as we'd like to think it is.
No. Rest in peace to Tom Hayden. He was a progressive. He was not a poser. He was a real live progressive. And yeah,
but when you need $1 billion to win a mayoralty,
that's crazy.
That's that's kind of crazy, like a barrier to entry.
Really, what it is a warning for our democracy, right? I mean, that just shouldn't be the case. We have to have some kind of campaign finance reform, or we're just going to be.
We do, but you can't get in unless you take the money. You can't get in unless you take the money.
That's because we don't have robust campaign finance reform. Like right now, we are a functional oligarchy. So and we're going further and further down that road as it costs more and more to win an election, right?
Right. They're bought and paid for, but I don't see how you overturn that because you have to play by those rules to get in the first.
Well, you can change the rules. You can say there's a limit on how much you can spend on an election. You could stop. We could overturn Citizens United and make it where corporations are not people. You could make sure that corporations have limits too. We could get rid of these dark money political action committees where they can put endless amounts of money and not even tell you who it is. I mean, the whole idea of a PAC is problematic anyway. It's like it completely undermines campaign finance reform in any meaningful way, because how can you have campaign finance reform when you can have a PAC that takes bottomless donations from anonymous donors? There are things we could do that would make it better.
Yeah, look at Russ Feingold. He ran on campaign finance reform, and he ultimately became the victim of campaign finance reform.
But we haven't had real campaign finance reform. We've had campaign finance posing.
Remember Jerry Brown when he put a $100 cap when he was running for president? You remember that?
I do not.
Yeah, he was going to have a $100 cap on contributions. He was running against Bill Clinton, so we all know how that went. But
right. Well, he got to be governor twice. He never got to be president.
No, he never did.
You want to land for me, Dee?
I think he may have a point with the bullet train. At the very least, the bullet train should return to its original mission, which is to connect secondary cities.
When you say you're talking about the president. He may have a point with the bullet train.
No, I'm talking about Mr. Newsom now.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
I think the bullet train needs to return to its original mission.
To connect. I'm a fan of the bullet train. I know it's really expensive, but I was in Japan and I rode their bullet train. And it's not just because it was fast and quiet and clean and amazing. It's because you can get from one place to another really fast with almost no pollution and low cost. And I know it costs a lot now, but 10, 20, 30 years from now, when you can go from LA to San Francisco in a heartbeat, I think we'll be glad we did it. Why are you against it?
I'm not against it. I just think it should return to its original mission. When the Institute of Transportation Studies at Cal Berkeley came out with that proposal, it was to link secondary cities, like from Kern County outward. And then when the politicians got a hold of it, it became a statewide thing. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But I think it creeps, and it's overrun in cost. I think if you want, I think we need more. What we need more is a transit line from South LA County to North Orange County. But no one wants to pay the price as traffic snarls on the 405.
Yeah, anywhere the 405 goes, we're going to need a train or a subway. And of course, it turns out that the Elon Musk Boring Company, which was supposed to make these tunnels in Vegas, turns out to be just a bunch of BS. Just more ways to kind of give him a monopoly on transportation and undermine public transportation, which actually works like trains and buses. Anyway, Dee, I always appreciate your thoughtful analysis of things, and thank you for the call. Oh, did you ever answer the question, are you in fact a car?
I am not a car. Last time I checked.
Glad we cleared that up. Yeah, thanks for calling, Dee. Dee called me at 800-920-1580. I, in fact, am not a car either. But you are welcome in anytime on this ride. KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
May 6th was World Asthma Day, and it's a critical time to raise awareness about your asthma. Did you know that Black Americans are approximately 5 times more likely than white Americans to visit the emergency department due to their asthma? Managing your asthma is possible with regular checkups, avoiding known triggers, using prescribed medications correctly, and creating an asthma action plan with your healthcare professional. An action plan is a personalized plan you create with your doctor that shows you what to do and what medications to take to help control your asthma when you're having a hard time breathing or having an asthma attack. Stay aware. Have a plan because your health matters. For more tips and resources on managing your asthma, visit luma-edu.com. luma-edu.com. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
Every mother deserves a healthy and joyous pregnancy and birth, and every baby deserves to thrive. That's why the Los Angeles County Abundant Birth Project is here. The Abundant Birth Project is a guaranteed income program that provides cash during pregnancy to pregnant individuals at the highest risk of preterm and low birth rate babies. Although program enrollment has closed, our commitment to Black joy and thriving continues. Through tailored services that foster mental well-being and community-based resources, we provide care and support during pregnancy and after the baby is born to help build brighter futures for our families. Join us in celebrating abundant births in LA County. For more information, please visit abundantbirthproject.org. abundantbirthproject.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, it's open. It's open. We're open. You're welcome. 800-920-1580. Karibu sana, as we used to say when we were learning our Swahili. Did we say we were bringing back the Swahili word of the week, Miles? I think we did say we were going to do that, even though we're going to West Africa where they don't use Swahili, but we could still use it. We said we were bringing it back, huh?
Yeah, but you did say we're not going there this year, so it may not be the...
Yeah, I mean, they're saying that they're going to use Swahili all over Africa, but it really hasn't caught on in the West. You see it a lot in the East, like when we were in Tanzania, Kenya, all along the East Coast there. And we saw some in South Africa where they're just now starting to adapt to it. But it's not, I haven't heard any. But anyway, karibu means welcome. So that can be our word of the week. If you welcome and you're welcome, it's a very useful word. Karibu. Karibu sana. You're very welcome. 800-920-1580. There's protesters in Little Tokyo that were helping to paint and clean up the Japanese American Museum that got hit by graffiti. Protesters went back down there and helped paint it. These are the stories you're not going to hear in the MSM, the mainstream media. And it's good that our electeds are trying to stand up for us, but walking a line. I feel like when Mayor Karen Bass was on this show the other day, she was really trying to thread a needle, giving the Trump administration credit for the fact that they have moved money to help the Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles and Altadena in LA County. She was giving them credit for that, and at the same time saying, please don't spend money on the National Guard. We don't want Marines. So it's a fine line to walk. And we had the chief of police on yesterday talking with the LA City Council. And I think council members called the chief to account in a way that was good. I don't know what they're doing to give that teeth. Chief Jim McDonald said at that point, up to that point, 114 people had been arrested, 53 for failing to disperse, which means they tell you to stop protesting and you don't, which is a charge the city attorney should not pursue. Although, I don't know, with this city attorney, you never know. 15 on suspicion of looting, 15, and one for alleged assault with a deadly weapon on a cop. One arrest for attempted murder. But look at those numbers. Does that sound like you need a battalion of Marines? Don't think so. Councilmember Imelda Padilla had a great idea, which is, she said she was calling on the chief to warn elected officials if federal law enforcement warned him that immigration raids were on the way. Now, several law enforcement officials, including the sheriff when he was on this radio station, have said that they didn't get warning. They're not getting warnings from the feds, which means it's very difficult to keep a city safe. We have other federal law enforcement agencies, ICE, FBI, Homeland Security, just coming into your city, and they don't tell the people who are supposedly protecting and serving. How does the LAPD, the Sheriff's Department, or local police agencies, how do they keep the city safe if they don't know a whole battalion of Marines is coming? Or that ICE is going to start kidnapping people off the streets? McDonald said, no, we can't do that. You're asking me to warn you about an enforcement action being taken by another agency before it happens? We can't do that. He says it's obstruction of justice. I'm not a lawyer. Somebody called Jaye person, Lynn. He said it would be inappropriate and illegal. How so? If that agency is in violation of state or municipal law, wouldn't it be the police chief's duty to warn the people that were elected by us to represent us of what is about to come down on our city? I would think so. McDonald, towing the line, saying he has got to cooperate with federal agencies. So this whole policy of not cooperating with immigration doesn't seem like anything but lip service at this point, after that exchange. Hugo Soto Martinez was calling out the chief for the use of rubber bullets during those protests, including the Australian TV reporter who was shot by a rubber bullet on camera. And Soto Martinez rightly said these things escalate the situation. Of course they do. The city council members attempting to hold the police chief accountable, I think, speaks to how much more progressive our council is than it has been in the past. Let's go to Jerry calling us from Beverly Hills. Good morning, Jerry.
Hi, good morning. Mexico has a supposedly good leader. Can't they get more good jobs in Mexico? Open up McDonald's or Jack in the Box more in Mexico to increase jobs?
When you say they, you're talking about
the Mexican leader.
No, I know you're talking about, okay, you're talking about Claudia Sheinbaum, who is a progressive woman, progressive Jewish woman, who is the president of Mexico. And are you suggesting that Mexican Americans who live here in the United States should go back to Mexico and get jobs because they have a better president?
No, what I mean is, can't they get more jobs in the country of Mexico so people can live better in Mexico?
I'm sure she's working on that, yeah, but I just don't think that has anything to... I mean, I won't say it doesn't have anything to do. There are some people that come here strictly for jobs, but people come here for a lot of different reasons. And at this point, people are being deported who aren't even Mexican. They're Haitian, they're Salvadorian, they're American.
Yeah, well, in their own country, can't they get good jobs in their own country?
My answer to you is that I'm sure the Mexican president is working on that, but I don't think that is an excuse for us to abridge the rights of people who are here. That's my point. I'm sure there are good jobs available in some parts of Mexico and not so much in others. The Mexican president has made a statement that she thinks most of the people that are being detained here are good people that are just here to work. She has condemned the violence in LA, even though Kristi Noem lied and said she didn't. But yeah, I'm sure she's working for better jobs there. But remember, when you talk about migrants, when you talk about ICE arrests, first of all, some of those folks being arrested are citizens. Second of all, it's not just Mexico, it's Honduras, it's El Salvador, it's Nicaragua. All of them have different reasons why people are fleeing. It's African countries, it's Haiti, etc., etc. We've got news, traffic, and sports. Then it's time for a Wealth Building Wednesday, and I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to meet a man. It's literally his first rodeo. This is going to be a good one. Join me for that next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Protests against President Trump's immigration raids are growing in Chicago. Police were deployed and CTA buses were halted in the Loop. Similar protests hit cities nationwide. A black Mobile, Alabama police officer was arrested at a Disney